A boat full of cats is just a bad idea. No armchair, laundry basket, or bowl sitting tantalizingly close to any precipice would be safe. But nonetheless, cats have somehow convinced us that they're great, and that's the selling point for Isle of Cats. It's a game where you compete over 5 rounds to successfully and precisely load as many cats as you can onto your boat, saving them from piratical destruction laid out in the surprisingly deep lore. And that alone would be cool, but it's got a lot more going on underneath its paws. What separates the game from the vast majority of Tetromino toters is just how much depth there is to the game. Each round, players get 20 fish bucks. Each side of the island is populated with 2 cats per player, dividing them into costs of 3 or 5 fish respectively. Then players draft a set of cards that will amount into half of the tension of the game. Sure, cats on your boats, when grouped by color, get you fat family points, and covering rats and filling in rooms on your boat counteract negatives, but your capacity to get cats is limited by your baskets, initially 1 permanent basket used per round. So you gotta get temporary baskets and half baskets from cards, or one-time use cards that give you more permanent baskets, or cards that access the finite pool of treasure tokens to fill out the nooks and crannies on your boat. Or snag you a magical Oshax who is both A, exceptionally rad looking, and B, is placed with a meeple on top denoting their adoption into that family suit for the remainder of the game. Or, most important, and to me what really separates the cats from the kittens, are the lessons, cards that when played become private scoring conditions for yourself or public scoring conditions for all players, sculpting a vast array of experiences and strategies to lean into for what is otherwise a pretty narrow game. The thing is, cards cost fish, and cats cost fish, and after drafting, any of the drafted cards you want to keep you gotta pay up for, which leaves less fish for cats when luring them into your boat, who themselves are drafted by players in crucially contested turn order, dictated by the boots on green cards played each round, which, as with all the best tile placement games, tiles must be placed adjacent to other tiles on your boat, and when you're trying to group certain cats together, fill out rooms, lay a particular color cat on the matching map of your boat for a bonus treasure tile, or fulfill a myriad of other possible objectives, placing these ill-fitting felines is agonizing and rewarding in the best sort of ways, much like cat ownership itself. What makes the game so remarkable is the sort of betrayal to its genre. Yes, it is an accessible game, but it has a little bit more oomph, a little bit more meat on its bones than its other tile-laying and spatial arrangement contemporaries. For experienced gamers or those looking for some depth, the contentious card drafting, tricky financial fish balance, and sort of self-fulfillment strategic scoring of the lesson cards is a godsend, making for a tight game that's equal parts cold strategy and knowing when to take tactical turns. On the other hand, this is a bit more involved of a game than you might expect given the core concept and theme. And even though I'm one of these people who likes the sort of enhanced complexity of the game, even I recognize there's a degree of rigidity to it. The steps in the rounds feel kind of disjointed, which gives it a sort of idiosyncratic flow. But for those who have cat fancy but prefer lower stakes, the game has your back with an excellent family mode, stripping out all the card drafting and fish economy, making it a pure 5 rounds of drafting wider arrays of cats to fulfill 2 of 3 personal goals chosen at the beginning of the game. While I feel like this strips the parts of the design that elevate the game from good to great, the option is extremely welcome as it lets me play totally successfully with my 7-year-old son, who has checked out just about every book on cats that my capital city library has on offer. While I don't doubt that he could technically manage the full-fledged game, the nuance and challenge would put him at a severe disadvantage, and the longer playtime is a big ask. The inclusion of this variant is so smart. In truth, a huge part of the charm is the theme. It's clear publisher Cydia Games just gets cats. The sloopy, slinky, languid, mischievous, curious, adorable, disgusting, and downright uncooperative nature that makes cats so compelling bleeds through. From the fantastic illustrations to the cute player and color notation meeples, to the box lid cheekily mandating your cat's inclusion for a vid. You know what? Screw it. Margot knows what's up. But as with the Marquise's own gamesake, charm alone does not win the prize. Isle of Cats is an absolute banger of a game. From fit to finish, it gets high marks all around. Accessible and adorable, but packing some serious punch, it's easy to see why it's so quickly become a fan favorite in the hobby. If you like spatial arrangement games, but want just a little more meat on the bones, then you can't do better than Isle of Cats. And that's our review, but let us know in the comments below, what is the animal that you would most like to see an island of, and what are the precarious considerations you'd have to make in rescuing them from said isle. And as always, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, thanks for being an awesome community. You know that I have been Jack for the Cardboard Herald.